Welcome to the show.
Hello.
So, hello everyone. I guess real quick, we should go around the table and I'll introduce across the table, kind of to my front left side, is Eric McCabe.
What's going on?
Eric is
How are we doing?
2010 world champion, former touring player.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I should say touring pro. You weren't like a touring am.
That's true.
Touring pro sounds marginally better.
It does.
Course designer, just Mr. Dude all around.
I do a lot.
Less to my front, more to my right is Danny Lindahl. Everyone, I'm sure, knows him and will recognize the name and voice.
The least stable mind here.
Right.
Just
Really?
if we were guessing it on a spectrum, I mean, that's the way I see it.
You would be the easiest of the three to throw.
Oh.
Deal.
I think so. It makes
I'll take
sense.
that one, yeah.
My name's Anthony. I would say I'm here to steer the ship, but this ship's already off
It's a
course.
loose collection of rafts kind of bobbing around the ocean at this point.
Yeah, there's
We move with the winds.
rough seas going on over in these parts. I guess. Is it fair to say that we are the understable minds, or is it our collective mind is understable?
Or is it anyone who puts themselves through listening to this podcast that should be considered understable?
I would say combination of A and B there. I think it's us. We have understable minds, I would say.
Okay.
Quite a bit. Like
We didn't list them A, B, and C. So
No, that's
No.
for the fans to determine.
Yeah.
just rank them in your own order.
Yes,
The
your
first
own
one
order. After you give us a 5-star review on iTunes
Right, please.
and all those other places.
Yeah. So obviously this is going to be a very formal show.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very structured, very rigid.
Topics galore.
Right. Focused on the disc golf world and things happening in the disc golf world.
Yes. And I'll
High
tell you right
probability
now,
to branch out from that.
there will be spoilers on our episodes.
I'm going to tell you what happens next year.
Fantastic. I can't wait.
I'll bet you Paul wins at least a tournament.
Okay.
I'll bet you Ricky wins at least a tournament.
Ooh, I like that
bold.
one.
And I'll bet you I play at least a tournament.
Ooh.
That one's doubtful, actually.
Put your money on it.
Watch out.
A and B,
Spoilers.
once again, A and B locks.
Yes.
C up in the air.
Do we need
we'll
to
see.
do spoilers differently, though? Because the coverage at USDGC isn't
I
going to be
don't think
available
so.
for like 30 more days?
I think if you don't know who won USDGC, you're not listening to our podcast.
Hold on.
That's probably going to be a topic about USDGC.
I think we can spoil the live coverage, but we'll wait to spoil post-produced. We won't tell you what happens on Jomez, but I'll tell you what
Gotcha.
happened on Disc Golf
Jomez
Network.
wasn't there, so that's easy.
Yeah,
Okay, I'll tell you what happened on Jomez. Nothing.
absolutely.
I won't tell you what happens in the post-produced because that'll probably be different.
hmm
But the live, I feel like we can talk about.
For sure.
Oh,
There's some
oh,
editing
oh.
movie magic in there.
Right? Is that fair to say? Because we don't want to spoil.
Sure.
We don't want to spoil stuff that hasn't come out yet. We'll just spoil
I
what's
don't
been
know,
out there.
man. There's no spoiler in sports, I guess is the way I
You're
look at
not picking up what I'm saying at all, Eric.
I'm not really either.
it. I'm not picking. Neither is
We
he.
can spoil
You're
it.
very under. You're rocking that number A right now, bro. Number 1 in the house right now.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'm agreeing with you. There's
Okay, good.
no spoilers.
Okay,
Yeah. It's already happened.
I'm not
It's-
picking up what you're putting down
No.
until now. I get it
Right.
now. Okay.
Yeah.
But that's just for the first topic, I guess. So if you don't want spoilers, just skip to the next one.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
sure.
fine.
So anyways, USDGC.
Did you guys get to watch it?
I did not get to watch the live coverage because
Dang
I
it,
was
man.
there.
You were probably on the live coverage at a couple
I
points.
bet I was because I did caddy for Paige Shue a couple rounds.
Oh,
I
cool.
followed Macy the last round. I followed all of our players actually. So it was a good event.
Yeah.
Minus Friday.
Yeah, rainy, awful. right?
Friday was awful
Gross.
bad. I'm talking like some of the worst rain I've ever seen, and it's hard enough to keep the disc in bounds. But when you're trying to keep a disc in bounds when everything is wet and
Yeah.
slipping out of the hand and getting extra skip, it's wow. How Paul shot that round, I have no idea. Like
Yeah.
a 9 down or something, wasn't it?
Insane. Yeah.
Bogey free 9 down or
yeah,
was
9
it
or 10.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't remember. It was good.
The fact that it was under par was like pretty
Fact. There was only 2 people I think that I recall seeing in the field that shot bogey free rounds, and they're both named Paul that day. So
Oh, Omen?
Tall Paul was not there.
Why-
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
good. Why did everyone else not name themselves Paul?
that's a good question.
Because that seems to be the thing.
Seems to be what should work.
Oh, it did.
It did this week.
It
It
did
did
work.
for that round.
Right.
Maybe
Well-
that's only for the rain though.
I mean, it worked for Paul Macbeth in the long run because he won.
That he did win.
Yeah.
That's what I would have done. If
What a man! I'm telling you that the final like 3 holes was pretty incredible to watch.
Yeah, that whole round was sick. Because I didn't watch it live, but I watched the post-production because I thought I would get to watch it live and then just got busy and forgot about it. But I managed to avoid spoilers. This is the first time like I've ever had to do that. Like I watched it Monday, but like I just didn't get on Facebook for like a day.
I even if I want to avoid spoilers, I can't.
Yeah.
I'm the kind of guy that sometimes the ESPN app is quicker than the actual live cut show you're watching, like the game. So I'll be on there watching sometimes, like refreshing. Oh, sick, he's going to get a touchdown on this play. Right. I don't know why. Yeah. I just got to know what's going on, you know?
I was talking to a friend as they were finishing up 17, playing 18, and then going into the playoff. I was watching UDisc because I was in a car, so I couldn't watch the live.
Oh, right.
And so I was watching UDisc, and I was talking to a friend who was watching the live. And he was like, "Oh man, Paul just threw this." And I was like, "Bro, I already know what he got on the hole.
Yeah.
Like I can tell you right now if you want to know."
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So it was interesting. Did you get to watch more than just the very end of the live, Danny?
Oh, I just watched like the first day live, and then I watched everything else post-produced.
So are you happy with your $25?
I can see why it cost $25 just from the live. They had like a bunch of cameras out there. They were covering a bunch of different cards. I still don't think it's worth it.
It was really cool to see. There was a stationary camera that I don't know if it was Ethernet cable or what kind of cable it was running from the clubhouse all the way down to the bamboo hole, which is I don't know if you guys have never been there, but that is a very, very long jaunt, I guess.
Like a couple hundred feet or a couple thousand feet?
If I had to guess, I would guess from that house to there is got to be more than 1,500 feet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it ran all the way down 18's fairway to the water's edge behind 17 and then ran along the water's edge all the way to the bamboo hole.
Jeez.
And they just had a camera sitting there all day because they had a $2,500 ace bounty on that hole. And there was 2 aces on it.
Yep.
Both of them got on camera, so that was really cool to see. And then they had somebody just standing on 17 all day long. From the tee and the pin, just filming all day long.
Yep.
I don't know if they were cutting to it because I haven't seen the live cover, so I don't know if they were like cutting to it occasionally or if it was more of if there was a unique shot. Like I know Andrew Marweed threw a forehand on that shot, hit the top of the basket and kicked back OB.
That was him. I saw that video.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, can you imagine?
Brutal. Oh, just a roller coaster.
Nightmares, because you're re-teeing at that point. Like. Yeah, that's a whole nother thing. Yeah.
An inch off a great, like a perfect shot.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that's a hard enough hole anyways.
Yeah. And then you have to redo it.
Right.
And I don't know, that may have been his second shot too. It may not have been his first shot from the tee. I don't know. But it was, the cameras are there, but you said you didn't think the $25 was worth it. Now, is that because of what happened right before the big putt on 17?
It wasn't because it cut out right at the end because I didn't watch that part live. But like, I think it's at where we are now. I don't think it's worth it as far as putting that much effort into an event for the live coverage. But it was sick. It was cool watching them because what they would do is if like somebody on a different card played a hole really well, they would take that footage and then as they were, instead of like a commercial break or something, they would play that and be like, hey, let's check in with Chris Dickerson on hole 13 or whatever and watch him
like
do
they
thing.
do in golf.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they do in golf. I would say 90% of the shots that you see during an actual golf tournament are not live.
Yeah.
That already happened.
Oh yeah.
So it's I like that concept. I really do. I don't know about the pay to play aspect of it. I see a lot of keyboard warriors out there not very happy with it and demanding refunds because of the blackout. Really? Which I mean, when Paul hit that putt on 17, we were AJ and I were across the lake watching. We're and Logan Harpool, all 3 of us were across the lake watching, and you could see the putt go in. And it was a delayed chain reaction, and then it was a delayed like crowd roar. Yeah. And it was just like, it was so like hype. Cool. And then they went over to 17, and then they came over the PA system and said, if you were in the stands or in the crowd and you have a phone, please turn on airplane mode to stop stealing all the bandwidth. I'm assuming that's what it was doing.
Just noise
it was crazy to hear them ask that question because that's obviously when things were going south for them, and it's such a bummer that it had to happen. I wish everything would have gone off without a hitch for them because I think that's very important for our sport to have a good quality production like that.
Especially to cut away and then come back interviewing the winner.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's a little bit of a bummer. That's a kind of a bad time to have that happen.
Yeah. But I mean, it was cool. I can see why it cost that much. Like the price is justified, but I don't think every tournament should do that. I don't think it's
sure.
I don't think
and I don't think that's the proposal. I think I would like to see this at all the majors.
You pay $25 to see every major.
I meant this type of production value.
Yeah.
I think what I would rather see them do is put an option when you sign up for the yearly Disc Golf Network, an extra $10 or whatever it is to watch all the majors. And you have that option.
Yeah.
That's something I would rather see than just and I don't even care that they did the pay-per-view. Like people are saying it's behind a paywall. Well, that's not really the case because it's behind one paywall because
right. You don't have
to be a subscription.
Right.
To watch, you just had to pay the $25 or whatever it was, and I don't know. I just think eventually we're going to have to be at that level, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
you think?
But
I do.
It's kind of putting the cart before the horse right now, I think.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that portion of it too, but I'm strictly basing this off of physically seeing the cameraman out there and not watching the coverage.
It was good. It was nice, but it's as good as you would expect from the amount of effort that they're putting in. But it's just a matter of, is it worth it? I certainly don't think it's worth it to the consumers just based off the feedback right now.
Yeah.
And I think the normal live coverage is plenty good enough.
Yeah. I mean, sure. I think it's plenty good enough, but there's always room to grow. There's always room to grow is the way I look at it.
Is there, I mean, thinking about it, is there really that much of a difference between what they did at USDGC this year and kind of what they did at the Pro Tour Championship last year, where it was on ESPN2, I think? Because to be able to watch that, you have to have a cable subscription. You have to be able to have, ESPN2. You can't just watch it on YouTube. It's not a pay-per-view thing, but you're paying for either a TV plan or a TV alternative or whatever. It's not as open to as wide of a market as something like our CBS Sports coverage was, or ESPN2 coverage, things like that. But you're still paying extra to watch something that you in the past have been able to watch somewhere else.
Sure. And I think for that particular event, if I'm not mistaken, they still had next day coverage for that. And the ESPN2 coverage came out a month or two later.
Yeah, that part of it is a little bit different.
Yeah.
And so I get why, same with our DDO coverage on CBS Sports. You were able to watch that on Jomez the next day, Central Coast the next day, whatever.
Or Portland Open even. There was
Portland Open was the same
they did
thing.
another one on ESPN. So.
Yeah. But I feel like I didn't hear, I wonder if it's because you had that next day coverage.
Possibly. I know a lot of people are all about that next day coverage.
But it was different. If you watch the Jomez next day coverage of DDO and you watch the CBS Sports,
absolutely, yeah,
those
it was more
were
of a
different
story
products
that was being told, right, yeah.
So you're still getting to watch something different by paying for it. It was just kind of a different way around paying for it.
So let me ask you this: do you think live coverage is the future, or do you see next day coverage not going away necessarily, but the view counts going way down on those, and not being as like, we got to sponsor this event, so Jomez pumps our brand through these videos? Or is it more of, let's get in on the live stuff because that's going to be where everybody's going to view?
Yeah, I think live is 100% the future.
It's just how far off that future is.
Right. I don't think it's the future of tomorrow. It might be the future, I mean, hypothetical
of 2023.
Tomorrow. Right. Yeah, it might be the future of like, I don't know, 2026, 2030, maybe something like that.
And I think the future of live looks like the USDGC did, because that was sick. They had a bunch of different stuff. That'd be awesome if they could do that everywhere. But
if they could replicate that, that's going to be very hard to replicate just off of how they did. I mean, it was just the backpacks with whatever's in them and the cameras. It wasn't like a normal golf tournament where they have cameras set up on almost every hole. And those guys are stationary and not moving with the crowd, not moving with the groups.
If we want that, people are paying $125.
Absolutely, more than that, probably. Yeah,
I think that's way down the line.
Yeah, I would agree with that for sure.
I wonder, like, how long do we think our main viewing of disc golf coverage is on YouTube? How long do you think before it becomes a thing where you can watch it live on ESPN2? I don't know what that barrier of entry is. I don't know.
That's going to be a lot of money.
I feel like disc golf is just different, though. It fits on YouTube. I think that's where
we thrive.
Yeah. Because, I mean, especially with live streaming through internet, like Twitch and YouTube and whatever becoming more and more popular, I definitely think, personally, I think that YouTube is where it's going to live, but maybe not. But yeah, I think that's it.
I wonder. Because, like, I feel like you could, I mean, we're not the same as X Games, right? But the X Games is kind of comprised of, like, not your major sports. It's not football. It's not soccer. It's not basketball.
It's more alternative.
Right. You've got BMX riding and skateboarding. Like
single competitions, not like team sports.
Right.
Individual.
And I'm sure you can watch stuff like that on YouTube or Twitch or wherever. But like when I think of the X Games, it's like, oh, that's on ESPN.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think that's, I don't know. I think with all the contracts and the money exchange for that type of stuff, like we're nowhere near that. Watching it live on ESPN2, I mean, there's so much money that would need to be exchanging
and it's
hands
a lot
for
harder
that.
to produce than
I would assume it is harder to produce as well. I mean, there's just something different when nothing against these live coverages that we watch, but it's apples and oranges in comparison to anything else live sports related, right? You know, and a lot of that is equipment, you know, knowledge, experience. I mean, there's so much that would go into it.
Yeah. I just wonder, man, like, I mean, the sports, if we could rewind time 3 years ago and somebody told you that the sport would be where it is today 3 years ago, you'd be like, yeah, no, it's not. Yeah, that's a little too quick. Like maybe in 10 years.
Yeah. That's a good point.
But I've also been saying that for 10 years.
Right. Sure.
So that we're on the brink. Well, look at that. The video from like the late 90s of I remember it was Steve and Bambarico on MTV Sports with Dan Cortez or whatever that guy's name was, and they said disc golf is the sport of the future. We're so close to breaking through. And this was the 90s.
Oh yeah, well that was like Feldberg was on Conan, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
And that was
like 2000 something probably. It was in the 2000s, I'm pretty sure. Because I knew Dave really well then, and I met Dave at 99 Am Worlds. So that was when he was pro. So it was after the year 2000.
Okay.
Maybe that's where he came up with that skit, the year 2000. Conan.
So speaking of Am Worlds, Kyle Klein won Am Worlds.
Kyle Klein won Am Worlds?
That's what his PDGA says.
Cool. I didn't know that. I know he won the
Next Gen Tour.
I didn't know he won Am Worlds too.
That's what his PDGA said anyway. And
I'm sure it's
almost
true
took down a pro major like 2 years later.
Well, he's won a pro tour event this year, and
he almost won.
He almost won too.
D-Glow.
Yeah.
Kid's a stud.
Is that like going from an amateur player to winning a pro tour? Is that the fastest we've seen it? Has anybody done it in a year?
That's a good question.
Who else could have done it?
Nobody off the top of my head that.
Yeah.
At least since the pro tour has been a thing, not really.
Yeah. I mean, not even probably the NTs either.
Yeah.
As far as actually winning. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty impressive. The kid's good. The kid is really good. He can throw a disc both ways, forehand, backhand, putts like an animal. I thought you were going to
say forwards and backwards.
Well, I mean, I'm sure he can. Probably doesn't throw it backwards very often, but not winning.
Hopefully not intentionally.
Not going to playoffs and majors, you don't throw it backwards.
That's
ever.
True.
No, he's solid. He stayed with us at the Airbnb too, so it was nice to kind of go to lunch with him a day and hang out for a little bit and pick his brain on what he thinks the sport's like and that kind of thing. So
you heard it here first, folks. Kyle Klein coming to Team Dynamic Discs next year.
Sick.
Yeah, certified.
That's everyone you talk to. That's pretty much confirmed right?
If that's the case, we're gonna have the biggest team of all time next year.
Yeah, I don't think Kyle even knows it yet.
Is gonna be there.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't even think of that, man.
Sick.
Oh, what a brick!
Yeah. Dang it, he's signed now. Wait, that's the way it goes.
If you're talking to us, what does that mean?
At least
do we get cut and then just re-signed again?
Right.
Is that how this works?
Yeah, just confirming that for the rumor mill.
Cool.
Just
that's fine.
Everywhere.
I saw there was a big thread on Reddit a couple days ago.
Oh, nice.
Where people were talking about players switching. Who do we think is going to go where? There was somebody that posted a thing on Twitter about someone rumored to be signing with us.
Yep.
Where people get their information for that stuff, I'm always curious.
Me too.
Like, does somebody just say, like, I'm going to post a viral tweet right now. I'm going to take a name, put on a dartboard, and just wherever it lands, that's where this player I think is going to go.
What's always surprised me since talking to you and Robert when he was the team manager was how the players aren't as like connected to their company as you would think. Right? Like there are players that are, I'm not going to say any names, but there are players that are like, you associate their name with the company really hard.
Eric McCabe.
Yeah, well,
fact.
And they're still shopping around in the off season. So like
Eric McCabe.
Everybody is kind of looking around, looking to see what offers they get.
Yeah, you got to see what's out there. I mean, nowadays it's completely different than just the loyalty that it used to be. And nowadays it's like, I mean, especially since Paul made the 10-year, $10 million bucks a year kind of a deal. Everyone's like, dang, he's getting paid, so now I get paid, right? That's kind of like the trickle down effect. And 100%. I mean, everybody's asking, everybody's talking. I've talked to tons of players already this offseason, so it's pretty crazy.
Even players that you would think like they are so ingrained in their brand and the brand that they throw, they're still looking around. So it's all on the table.
Yeah, we're talking about Paul. Like a couple years ago, Paul was with Innova forever, and you just never thought he was going to go anywhere. Yep. And then he goes to Discraft.
They had that April Fool's joke where they changed their name to Macbeth Discs.
Yeah, I literally have one of those. I have a Macbeth, I think it's a Destroyer.
That's hilarious.
Like a Macbeth Disc Golf. Yeah. And then 2 years later?
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
He's now
same day
playing for. Yeah, it was later. He wasn't happy with how well they sold.
It was April 2nd, actually. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I don't know. Do we think there's going to be big switches? Do we think there's going to be any big names changing?
It kind of goes in waves, doesn't it? Like 1 year everybody flips, and then another year everybody kind of stays the same.
A couple years ago, a lot of these players did actually sign 2, 3, 4, 5 year deals. So there's that. The only player of elite level that I know's contract is up this year is Kevin Jones. He's the only one that I know of for sure. I mean, there's a bunch of other ones that are, sign 1 year deals. I know Mason Ford's on a 1 year deal. A couple others that I won't mention, but yeah, it's different now because a lot of people are going to that multi-year deal. If I'm going to pay you, I want you to stick around for a couple years because I don't want to invest all this money into you for 1 year, you know? And then there's the other side of things too, where say 2 years ago, you got a deal for 5 years. Well, next year that contract's probably outdated.
Yeah, right, with the way the sport is
growth
changing,
of the sport, especially if you're winning events. So there's got to be a clause in that somewhere saying that we can renegotiate or I can walk. And let's be honest, there's probably not a contract in the sport of disc golf that a player couldn't just walk away from right now. You know what I mean? It's not like we have trades, which can you imagine that if we had trades?
Yeah.
Like
that would be interesting.
Like we have it'd be different if it was like a collegiate level and then you go pro.
Yeah.
It's not like that now. But if it was, then you could
signed up.
I go to the draft every year, and I'm drafting players for DD. How sick would that be?
Yeah, that would be so cool.
It'd be so cool.
Even if I remember, I forget. I'm not going to remember names, but I remember a couple years ago there was a guy in the UFC who was one of the best guys, and I guess they were having arguments about how much he should get paid or whatever. And they literally did that. They traded him to some other boxing organization or something for
cool.
One of their top guys. And it was just fine. You would never think that. Yeah, I mean, maybe. I mean, do we think that'll happen? I could see that.
I don't think. Not until. Yeah, I don't foresee that ever happening.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't happen in golf, right?
Sure.
They're not doing trades, and it's kind of similar to that.
What if it did? What if it was hey man, we'll give you Rory if you
give us Tiger.
Yeah.
10 years ago, Tiger.
Sure.
Jordan, maybe. I don't know.
That would be hilarious. Intersport. Hey, man, we'll give you Rory.
I meant Jordan Spieth.
You give us Michael Jordan.
But I like that, too. He did try to golf. He was a good golfer. I think he almost was a scratch golfer. So, I mean, he's no Roy. But
sure. Yeah. He's the GOAT, though. So
he is the
it's
GOAT.
Got to translate, right?
Except when he tried to play baseball.
Bro, speaking of baseball.
Oh, man. I know you're excited.
I am. And, dude, this is such a good tie-in right now. Game 3, White Sox Astros. White Sox pitcher, Dylan Cease.
Yep.
Very well-known disc golfer, Dylan Cease.
Yep.
Let's make a trade.
Oh.
Let's send Danny to the White Sox.
Okay, Danny.
What?
Sorry about you, but you're an MLB pitcher now.
You're now pitching for the Chicago. Hey, good for you. They are in the postseason.
Oh, no.
Right, and you're probably done for the series.
Yeah.
If we lose one more game, you're done for the season. Then you can just come straight back.
Yeah.
That's a lot of pressure.
But if they win 2 more games, you got to be ready to go.
If I'm the pitcher, we're not winning
Boston
2 more
too,
games.
right?
I don't know that I could throw the ball far enough to get it from the pitcher's mound to home plate.
Dude, you are going to throw so many no-hitters.
It just rolls across the plate.
It's like Rookie of the Year, the last pitch where he just lobs it.
Danny faces 3 batters, gives up 3 walks, and pulls them every single game.
Yep.
I take like 3 steps back to get a running start, and I still can't get it there.
He walked the bases loaded on
It's like
12 straight pitches.
Yeah, it's like, you know how there's a rule where if there's a hole that has like an island and you can't throw it that far, you can just go to the drop zone.
Right.
That's how the White Sox start. They just start with runners on first, second, and third.
Oh, man.
0 outs.
I'm looking like 50 Cent out there on the mound.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
that would be
man.
great. That'd be great.
Yeah.
But, I kind of want to go back to USDGC a little bit.
Sure.
And talk about the course.
Yeah.
Please.
What did you guys, from a viewing standpoint at home, think of the sticks?
The sticks.
On hole number
9?
9 would be the one, because they were on 2,
16,
8, 9, and 16, but they were only on 9 on the TE, and that is new this year.
Right. That was the one that got most people.
Yes.
I didn't see anyone hit them.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I talked to the spotter on day number 2, halfway through the round, and he told me through the first 2 days, only one person is hit.
Yeah.
And it was just like one of those that just barely hits the side of it,
Mm-hmm.
and it hit the side of it and still parked the basket.
Wow.
It was Kevin Jones who did it, but he just barely hit it and still parked it. So I was like, okay, cool. But standing on, like, looking at the picture, that I think Jordan Castro was the first one to post it. Looking at that picture, I'm going, okay, this is the dumbest thing I have ever heard of or seen in my life. I get there, stand on the tee. I'm like, these aren't even in the way.
Really?
Nobody's probably going to hit this.
Are they closer than they looked, or wider apart?
They're pretty wide apart. Like, I couldn't walk through with my hands out and touch them at all. They were, the one in the middle was the one that kind of was probably in people's head the most, unless you're going forehand around the outside, which I didn't see too many people. I saw Oakley do it once or twice, but there's also a huge landing zone straight right that you could just lay up to as well. And the rule on this hole is if you throw OB, you proceed to the 45-foot drop zone that I think 2 people in the entire tournament made the putt from.
So it's
because
a 4.
it was
like right behind a couple trees, right?
Exactly.
It was tough.
And if you run it and miss and it rolls OB, you're rethrowing from where you just putted from. So
it's pretty much guaranteed 4 if you go OB.
Yeah.
I saw Paul and Drew on the final round coverage went big hyzer. They went through the rightmost gap. Not all the way around it, but just the rightmost gap. It just kind of spiked it all the way in there, throwing it a million feet in the air.
Sure.
And then the other guys, Martin. Was it Dickerson that was on the card?
Dickerson.
Yeah, they went more up the gut, like a little bit of turn and let it fade.
More traditional.
Yeah. I think because they were like staggered more than it looked and they were farther apart, they provided like less of an issue. But still, I think it just looked cheesy.
Agreed.
It definitely looked cheesy.
Especially on the, like, one of the only spots on the course that cars are constantly driving by, wondering what's going on with the big US disc golf signs. That part was kind of weird to me, but I did see Kyle Deck throw a thumber on that hole in Monday qualifying over the top, and it came down on the ground and hit inbounds and skipped straight up into the basket. Almost would have gone in if it was like a touch shorter, I think. But it was really freaking sick. Cool to see.
Did you play it? Did you throw it?
I threw it once.
What did you throw?
I threw an evader.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's not that far. It's like 380, I think.
So just
slightly uphill.
Up the gut gap?
Just put some power on to the right. Okay. The right of the middle pole out of the 5, the one in the middle, just to the right of it.
Okay.
So
not as big of a deal. Still looks
really
kind of cheesy.
It does. And the women, the FPO did not play from that. Their shot was worse, in my opinion. It was tucked underneath that backboard for the baseball field. So, like, if you wanted to play safe, you had to throw this really awkward high turnover or forehand shot. I don't know. It was just weird. And the weird part about the USDGC, to me, this year seeing it, this is the first year I've been there where FPOs played like their own event, and it was an A tier, not a major. But the 3 holes stood out to me. Hole number 5, which is the big par 5 with the pond. They played
Kevin Jones.
Yes, the one he threw it in on. Yep. So the FPO played from a shorter tee on that, which I thought was great, and it scores seemed to be a par 5. but they didn't have to throw over the water. MPOs had to throw over the water. There was a Mando pole
in that tree
on the corner.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't even in the tree. It's just before it. It's like a huge flagpole.
Okay.
Or bamboo stick or something with a flag on the top. And it was just weird. And then they had the Mando line at the bottom of it, like you would on a normal Mando. But the FPOs are allowed to play around it, which was kind of weird. And then the other one was 888 was one that, the sidewalk on 888. MPO could play to the sidewalk, and the sidewalk was all in bounds. But they had to throw across the little ditch that we used to play into.
Yep.
FPOs, the whole thing's in bounds. But there's a line there. To me, mentally, when I'm playing that hole and I throw a shot, it just seems weird that I'm throwing over a line, but I'm in bounds.
Yeah.
So the weird thing for me was every single hole I watched somebody throw OB, instantly had to grab the caddy book and open it and see, well, what's the rules on this hole?
Right.
So that
there's
part
two different courses on the same course.
Two different courses and different rules, too, on certain holes. So it's just kind of weird.
Super confusing.
It really is. And, I don't know what you could do to change it. I mean, it's historically been our most prestigious event. And I'll be honest, going into it, I didn't have like the feelings of pulling into Winthrop as I used to. And I'm sure majority of that was because I wasn't playing the events.
Right.
Makes sense, right?
Yep.
But it's still, back then, one of our most prestigious events. I always went to that event knowing, here we go, this is the week we get paid, because it's always the biggest payout, which it was, again, until next week.
For now, yeah.
But $20,000 for first, let's be honest. That's that. Yeah, for sure. But I don't know. I feel like the golf course. So there's a golf course here. It's on campus, right? Mm-hmm. I feel like the golf course could almost manipulate better holes back there. There's like nice rolling hills. There's a lot more trees.
Really?
And it's not like the Masters. It's not like Augusta golf course. It's Sure. I mean, it's your run-of-the-mill.
Mm-hmm. Right. It's a golf course.
Yeah, it's nothing spectacular about it at all as far as the golf goes. So I feel like almost you could do something back there. And I know that they don't want to move it from the front because of the history on it. But I will tell you this. There's a couple things that they gotta tighten up some loose ends out here. Hole number 8, the one that plays behind the baseball field. Mm-hmm. I was walking with Zach Melton the last round, I think it was, and I heard the crack of a bat. And you know when you're at a game, and you hear the crack of a bat, and you know, oh, he got a hold of that one. Yep. And that's what I was thinking in my head. And next thing you know, I hear a ball come flying through the trees. Almost hits me, bounces off Troy Bankus's foot, who was there caddying. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, man. And I heard Kevin Jones was playing that hole, and there was balls flying over the fence, like almost hitting him in the head a couple times.
Yeah, that's
like
not good.
Boom, but like you can't have that happening, right? No. Like you got to figure that part out, in my opinion. And then the other part that really threw me for a curve was, good little segue there, but
sinker.
But the 888 hole on the final day, they had like a drunk driving. I don't know what to call it, but they were like bussing kids in to like teach them about drunk driving and the dangers of it and all of that.
Tutorial's not the word.
No, it really isn't. It's not like they were getting hammered into the parking lot and driving, but but they did have a tow truck there with a big car like wrecked on the back of it, and they just basically dumped it. And then they cut the top of it off, busted the windows out, and there were kids hitting the sirens. And it was a distraction for the FPOs, at least. I don't know that it was still there when Paul's group, the final card came through, but it was 100% there for the lead card of FPO. And that's just, man, it just seems
that's not great.
At what point do you just got to go to the university and say, hey, can we rent this place out? Or do we need to move locations kind of thing? And I get it. There's history there, but the way our sport's going, you just can't have that anymore, right?
Yeah. I don't think people necessarily want to see just another golf course, though. Like, that's a common sentiment that I see.
It doesn't feel like a golf course, though.
You think there's enough trees to make it like...
Okay, well, the argument there is how many trees are on Winthrop?
That's true.
5?
Yeah.
I mean, there's hardly any.
Solution, just put up some mozzarella sticks on the golf course, and we're set.
Right.
Sure, and I'll be honest, those mozzarella sticks, if that's what we're calling them, I would 100%... put those on our golf courses here, on our disc golf courses here. I would 100% talk to the city and see if they're cool with us putting these things in at Jones Gold. However, I'm not trying to put them 3 feet from the basket or a tee pad. I'm putting them in the middle of the fairway where it would be great to have a tree.
Yeah.
You know, and all those were basket poles with anchors in them.
Really?
And they were just wrapped with like fake ivy, the plastic ivy. You know, honestly, I think they look pretty good. I don't like the locations,
right?
But I honestly think they look pretty good.
Given they could be like, I don't know, just a 4x4 sticking out of the ground,
and that's ugly to me.
Yeah. It could be.
Like they used to do that. They used to do the telephone poles is what they were the very first year.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, I just assumed they were still using those.
Yep. No, they were all metal.
Is the golf course close enough where they could still...
The golf course is the warm-up area.
So could they make a course that still incorporates some of like the current Winthrop layout?
Absolutely they could.
I think that would be cool because then you still get like if you can still get 17,
you can play around the lake.
Still get hole
still
5.
Play around the lake like 5, 6, 7, and then wrap around to 17, 18, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Those are all fantastic holes. Yeah. Those are some of the best holes on that course.
I think that'd be really cool.
Minus the OB, I don't really care for how far the OB comes down the hill every year.
Yeah,
but that is one of the best finishing holes in the sport.
Yeah,
and hole 2
awesome.
is, in my opinion, probably the best hole on the course, minus the sticks. I think it's one of the best holes on the course. I just like how it plays as a par 4.
Yeah, I think that could be cool to still get. I mean, you still get that history of like, this is USDGC. There's some iconic holes out there, but yeah, maybe if it makes the course a little bit better, a little bit more challenging, a little bit,
and I know
less gimmicky. I feel like I've seen people use that word a lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, if we can do away with some of that, I mean, it seems like they're all about experimentation. So maybe, who knows what they'll try out there.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that that's the answer. That's just my opinion of how I would like to see it go. Just change it up. If you guys own this major, you know, and you have the opportunity to put a course on an awesome piece of property, you know, I mean, historically, yeah, it's great to have that history there with some of those holes, but you can still keep all those holes I just mentioned around the lake and put 9 holes on that golf course somewhere, and I think you can make something pretty cool happen.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
And who knows? That it honestly, Winthrop could be like, no, you're not touching that out there.
Right.
You know,
it's entirely possible that they've been trying for years.
But that's what I would love to see happen at least.
All right, Eric. So before we go to our next episode, why don't you reach out to Winthrop University and be like, hey, I design courses. Sick. You guys have this golf course.
Yeah, you need a course?
Right. Why don't you let me come in and put something in there?
Oh, man.
And then, you know, we can just see what happens.
Yeah, I bet Innova and Winthrop, or Innova at least, would be thrilled to hear.
Probably. They'd be like, you're going to put a sweet course in? Dude.
Yeah. Oh, dude, let's do it.
Thanks.
Oh, you want to use veteran baskets too? Awesome. No, I think I'm going to use Patriots for this one, guys.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, man.
So you briefly talked about USDGC being the biggest payout, which it is.
Yeah.
You also alluded to it not being the biggest payout next weekend.
For very long.
Right, because we've got the Pro Tour finale, which I think it's the total purse is $250,000, right?
I believe it is $250,000, $30,000 for first place.
Yeah.
In both MPO and FPO.
Right, because last year it was $25,000. And who was it? Haley won?
Haley and was it Dickerson or?
That was what I thought.
It was either Dickerson or Kevin Jones. I don't remember which. It was Kevin Jones.
Was it?
It was Kevin Jones because Dickerson won USDGC.
Yes.
And then Kevin Jones won the Pro Tour finale.
Apologies to Kevin Jones. Who do we think takes it this year? Just repeat, straight up. Just Haley runs it back. Kevin says, oh, yeah, $55,000 in 2 weeks. I'll take that.
It's very possible.
I think James Conrad.
Really?
Because it's Hornets Nest is the course, which is very wooded, and he gets a bye all the way to the semifinals. He only has to play in the semifinals, and then if he finishes top 4, and that's the finals. So the format, if you don't know, is everyone is seeded 1 through, it looks like 32, and the bottom 16 all play round 1 on day 1, and the top 4 players move on. So 12 of those guys just play 1 round and then go home. And then,
but they still get $2,000 each.
Yes,
I think just literally for showing
just
up.
for showing up.
Yeah,
and then 9 through 16 plus the other 4, the 4 from the previous round play the quarterfinals, and then the top 4 move on to the semifinals, which is 1 through 8, and then the 4 finishers, and then the finals are based off of that. So James, it's hard to say. Is there an advantage to having played the course and played well?
I think there is.
Or do you
I think there's a little bit of an advantage there.
Okay.
Than being, I mean, how many players play better second round, third round, fourth round in a tournament as opposed to that first round.
That's
I'm not
true.
saying James is that guy that doesn't ever come out of the box hot, because the dude throws a putter better than anybody in the game.
And it's like they're there practicing. It's not like they just show up.
Sure. They're there right now. They're probably on the course as we speak, throwing shots.
Right.
I don't know if you guys are able to do this, but I know on UDisc you can go to the Bushnell bracket and fill out your bracket.
Oh, sick.
Where you, on the first round, you pick 4 players. Quarterfinals, you pick 4 players. Next round, you pick 4 players, and then you pick the winner.
Okay.
I was just curious to see who your guys' 4 players are going to be in the finals. Who do you think the 4 players are going to make the final day? Which essentially you can just pick your top 4 of anybody that you think is going to make it.
Right. So the people with first or buys all the way to the semifinals, we've got Ricky, Eagle, Calvin, Paul, Adam, Kyle, Kevin Jones, and James Conrad.
Correct.
Players that have a bye round 1 into the quarterfinals are Nico, Dickerson, Ezra, Joel Freeman, Drew Gibson, Andrew Marweed, Matty O, and then Double G.
Yep.
And then your players that have to play round 1, there's a bunch of them.
Yeah.
We've got Matt Bell, Big Germ, Yuli, Gannon Burr, Chris Clemens, Thomas Gilbert, Emerson Keith, Ben Calloway, I almost called him Brady Williams, Bradley Williams, Andrew Presnell, Colton Montgomery, Chandler Fry, Nathan Queen, Raven Newsom, Zachariah Johnson, and A.B.
A.B. who got in at the last minute.
Right. He is seed number 32 of 32.
Yes.
So let's hear, do we want to go through each round, or do we want to just go through
I've already
finals?
filled mine out. So
okay, then let's hear yours first, Eric.
Okay, so my 4 that I've got coming out of the round 1 are Matt Bell.
Okay.
Gannon Burr. I've got Gannon because Gannon played exceptionally well at the USDGC. That kid is good.
He's injured though currently, isn't he?
Gannon Burr?
Yeah, I thought he was dealing with something.
Yeah, if
he was earlier in the year. I don't know if he still is.
He just got like 11th place at USDGC. So
must not be that bad.
So Gannon, and then I've got Bradley Williams and AB is my top 4 coming out of round number 1.
Okay. Let's hear yours then, Danny.
I don't know. I'm still looking at this. I've got Yuli Clemens, Ben Calloway, and Bradley Williams right now.
Okay, so ours are very similar.
I like Clemens because he's a lefty. It's a wooded course. Usually those are a little bit more favorable towards lefties. I like
with 4 hands and all that.
Yeah. I like Bradley because he's just got an all-around good game. He won Maple Hill a few years ago, so he's got wooded course. Yuli, I don't know. It seems like he's been playing good lately.
Yeah. The fact that Yuli is the 19th seed surprised me.
Yeah.
I thought he would have been higher up than that.
Higher up or lower?
I thought he would have been a higher seed, a lower number. So like I thought he would have been like 15th, 12th, something like that. So my 4 that are moving on, I've got, similar to Danny, I've got Yuli, Clemens, and Bradley Williams for all the reasons that he just said. And then I've got Chandler Fry as my 4th one. I think
that's a good pick.
I think Chandler will have a good weekend. He plays good in the woods.
Chandler played this course 2 weeks ago at the Carolina Clash as well.
Yeah. So, and like Chandler's a super nice dude, so I like him a lot.
He is a super nice dude.
Very nice guy.
So who do you have quarterfinals?
Ooh, quarterfinals is tough. Quarterfinals, I have Chris Dickerson because Chris Dickerson.
I can't believe he's not. He's on all the way down in the quarterfinals. I would have put him higher than that.
Right. The fact that he is 10th is also very surprising.
Man, he didn't play every event though.
That explains
Still,
it.
but the ones he did play, he finished like first, second, third, second, fourth, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dude's a stud.
Joel Freeman. Joel Freeman has been playing some great disc golf as of late. And he was in contention coming down the stretch. Like he that last round birdied 8 out of 10.
What do you think Joel has to do to like be recognized for as good of a player as he is? Because I feel like he's
probably win.
But he's won stuff. He won Vegas a couple years ago. He's been in contention at so many
probably
events.
Win now though. Like I think it's a little different now than it was a couple years ago even.
Yeah.
You know, I
feel like he's just
I think he's
underrated.
really close to breaking through. And another reason I picked Joel was the Carolina Clash that I just spoke about. He won that tournament.
Yeah.
So that's another reason I'm picking Joel. And he was in contention at USDGC coming down the stretch, you know. I mean, then I have Drew Gibson, because Drew has been playing some lights out golf here lately.
Yep.
And I've actually got Gannon Burr.
Really?
Going on to that next round as well. I just think that young mentality, no fear, hasn't been there, doesn't really have anything to worry about. Is just, you know, playing some good disc golf right now. He's just in the woods throwing frisbees. Like, I mean, he should be in school, but he's doing this, which is great. So that's my semifinal picks.
All right. So who are your four
Or
moving
quarterfinals,
on
sorry.
to the semis from the quarters, Danny?
To the semis from the quarters, I've got Dickerson, Joel Freeman, because you brought up some good points about him. And then Andrew Marweed's been doing well lately.
Yes, he has.
And I think Bradley Williams is going to move on.
That's another good. That's solid. Four solid picks right there. Anthony?
So I've got three that you guys have already said. I've got Dickerson, Freeman, and Drew Gibson as well. My fourth is Matty O. I think Matty O's
Roll Tide.
Yeah, I think he's similar. He's going to be upset about that loss.
I was going to say, you don't think he's still upset about the A&M game, do you?
He's probably going to do this for Saban, if I had to guess. He's probably coming out there.
Yeah, I just dropped Andrew for Matty O. I forgot about that.
Yeah, Andrew was one that I was looking at as well.
Matty O's good.
But
I love Matty O.
Matty O is just a stud in the woods.
He's just a stud in general, let's be
sure,
honest.
Right. But you put a Frisbee in his hands, put a bunch of trees in front of him.
Yeah.
Dude's throwing that thing where he wants.
Oh, for sure. So, into my final four, now I've got what up, Rick?
Rick.
Because it's Rick.
Right.
I mean, it's Rick.
He's the one seed for a reason.
He is the number one seed for a reason. And then I have Mr. Adam Hammis, because dude's had a hell of a year.
Very good.
I mean, his forehand, while it looks odd, is remarkable.
Yes.
It's
100% agree.
It's fantastic.
Looks weird.
Yeah, but
and then it's perfect.
I don't care what my forehand looks like. If it comes out as clean as it does with him, I will do it.
Oh yeah,
standing on my head.
Heck yeah,
whatever I can do.
Hey, you guys want to see me throw a forehand?
Yeah, watch this.
Check this
what
out.
does he do? Oh my God, look at that shot.
So
No, I think Adam's gonna make that final four. And then I've got Dickerson, who was there last year and just all around good player.
Yep.
And then I got my fourth is Joel Freeman.
Interesting. Who do you got, Danny?
For the finals, I got Rick. I've got Kyle Klein.
What up, Rick?
What up, Rick?
Hey, Ricky.
Kyle Klein, Kevin Jones, and Chris Dickerson.
Say that again? Kyle Klein,
Kevin Jones, and Chris Dickerson. Okay. Yeah, at this point, just mostly based off of Woods players versus Open players.
Got it.
The audacity of you two.
Uh-oh.
Who did we leave out?
Eagle McMahon?
No. Eagle's a good pick. I did not pick Eagle.
Paul?
I went with Rick. Of course, I'm taking Paul.
Paul's hungover right now.
According to Paul, he's washed up now, so maybe it's not the smartest pick. Yeah, so I've got Ricky. I've got Paul as my second choice, and then my third choice is Kyle, and then fourth is Dickerson as well.
Paul doesn't need that 30K. These other guys are hungry.
Oh, yeah, because he didn't need a third USDGC title either. That's why he wasn't super freaking stoked to win
that money, though, actually, Paul's not even... All Paul's PDGA winnings this year are going to the Paul Macbeth Foundation. I don't know if anybody even really knows that.
Oh, I forgot about that.
But no, you're right. Paul's obviously a good pick, but yeah, I think he's going to be upset.
I feel like Paul has his eyes on bigger things than a paycheck.
Regardless of how big the titles, dude, that's all that matters.
Right,
titles.
This is the biggest paycheck in disc golf history for first place, and I bet you that's not even on his mind of like, oh,
he didn't care.
Do I want to win this thing?
No, he don't care.
Yeah. So who?
I've got Rick winning.
Ricky?
I've got Ricky winning. I think he's pretty disappointed from not winning the USDGC because I know he had a chip on his shoulder about that.
Yeah.
That was like the one event that he hasn't won yet that he wants to win really badly. And I think we're going to see some aggressive Ricky come out this next week in Charlotte.
Okay. What about you, Danny?
Kevin Jones.
KJ? Okay.
For just
because he won last year?
Yeah.
Back to back?
Yeah, he just won last year. He's got hyzer flip down, which is like an essential shot for in the woods. I think he played. This is where it was last year, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So he's won here before. Yeah.
I can see that.
I'm gonna go with Kyle. I think
Kyle Deck.
Yeah. Didn't even make it.
Boy, Kyle.
He's just gonna show up in the finals and be like, hey, you guys mind if I just throw thumbers all over the place right now? Yeah, I'm bigger than all of you.
He is the Meyer Lake AM2 champion, so I'm just saying.
Does it count if he didn't defend it though? Because he didn't come back this year.
That's true. He didn't.
He was scared.
He was.
No, I got Kyle Klein.
He was scared his wife was going to kill him because he just had a baby.
Right. Which,
yeah,
marginally fair.
Kyle Klein, good pick.
Yeah, I think your point about Ricky being upset about not winning USDGC, I think might almost be kind of what you were joking about with Paul. I think Ricky might have invested so much into USDGC, and maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I feel like Ricky's just an animal and wants to win everything.
He's just a competitor, that guy. Like, he brings his A game to everything he does. I don't care if it's a league or the biggest major of the year.
Yeah, and I think if I had to guess, I would say that I think Ricky would have the second lowest score because I think he's the best scrambler in the game.
Yeah.
And
when his putter is on, it's second to none.
Yeah, I think that's going to be huge.
Especially when he had daggers.
Right.
Just saying.
In particular.
Two-time world champions. I mean, with Swedish plastic.
0 cents. What?
Yeah.
What?
What?
Yeah, I think Kyle is going to, I feel like he's going to be playing with house money. Or he's won a Pro Tour already. He's come in second twice on the biggest scale. He just came in second. I don't think many people will be expecting him to win. Obviously, he can win. But I think he's just got that, kind of like you were talking about with Gannon. I think he's got that young mentality of like, I'm just going to go for everything. And more often than not, he makes it.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting.
Real quick, can we just run down the FPOs just because there's only 3 rounds of that?
Mm-hmm.
Just to kind of get your guys' take on who you think lady-wise is going to be in the event. I'll go first since I already filled mine out.
Okay.
And give you guys a couple seconds to look at it here. The quarterfinals. We're not going to name all the names of the ladies that are in the event, but I have Haley King.
Yep.
I have Kona Panis, who played exceptionally well at the Throw Pink event. She was on Macy's card the last round, and I was on that card following the entire day, and she was just focused and just looked really good out there playing, and she was in contention to win. She really was. Wow. She almost won that tournament, which would have been huge. But I've got Kona going to the next round, and then I've got Heather Young.
Solid pick.
Solid lefty. And then Deanne Carey, who has been playing some really good disc golf. She won Carolina Clash.
Yep.
She performed really well at the Throw Pink event. I think she won Resistance Open this year, too. So, she's got some W's under her belt, and she's well-deserved to be there and on the stage, and I just see her playing pretty well this first round.
I've got Haley King, Lisa Fakis, because she usually plays pretty well in the woods, and then Heather Young and Juliana Korver.
Ooh.
Okay.
Juliana, nice.
I once again have 3 in common with you guys. I've got Haley, Kona, and Heather. And then my 4th is Madison Walker.
Okay.
I think she's got a good shot. She's the 15 seed. I think she's got a good shot to make it out of that first round.
Get that spit out ace on hole 1.
Dude.
Dirty.
So semis, I've got Paige and Kat. They're just, I don't know, in my opinion, head and shoulders above the rest, at this point, and as far as experience goes.
Sure.
And then I went back and forth on these next 2. It would have been an easy to slide a Missy in there, but I think after that win, I think she's just on this huge high right now. How could you not be?
Yeah.
And I just see Sarah Hokum playing very well because Hokum in the woods, and this year she's been coming out and just playing some great disc golf.
She has had the quietest, third best season in the FPO field by far.
Her putt looks great, and it's woods, so forehands. I just got Hokum going, and then I do have Kona making my final 4.
Okay. Danny?
I've got Paige and Kat, and then Haley and Heather.
Paige, Kat, Haley, Heather. I like that.
Okay. I'm going out on a limb here. I'm trying to win this thing.
Got some underdogs.
A little bit.
A little bit.
It's not that I have underdogs. It's more that I don't have favorites.
Okay.
I like that.
I've got Kat, Sarah, Haley, and Heather. Okay. I think Paige doesn't make it.
Okay.
I think was it her 3rd round at USDGC where she just crumbled?
Yes,
she didn't have the best final round. Had a good final round.
She had a couple bad holes again during the final round.
I think that's still going to be in her head.
Okay.
And I think the fact that everyone else is going to have that round ahead of her, I think
that's a good point.
I think she's going to try and do too much and
going to push a little too hard.
Yeah, I think when you do that in the woods, I think you can get yourself into trouble. I also could be wrong, and she could take the field by 12. It's entirely possible.
Anything is possible at this event.
Yeah, but I'm going to say that she struggles in the semis and doesn't make it out. I've got Kat, Sarah, Haley, and Heather.
It's a good
my
final
final 4.
So I've got maybe a surprise, but I actually picked Hokum to win it for a lot of the reasons that I just said before, that she's been playing great. She is a heck of a woods player. And if her putt is on, like, she doesn't screw up.
Right.
Keeps it in the middle. I just don't see anybody.
She has shots that nobody else in the field has.
Yeah.
And that's huge in the woods.
And having a dominant forehand really honestly helps with scrambling, because there's so many different angles that you can come out of the woods with. And I don't know. I just think it's Sarah's time to shine once again, if that makes sense. And it's in Charlotte at the Hornets Nest, where she won her world title in 2014. So
she's probably feeling good.
Yeah.
What do you got, Danny?
I've got Haley going all the way.
Okay.
Just because
back to back.
I think
you got both back to back. So did you.
Yeah. Sure. I didn't really put that much thought into it.
Yeah.
I think
I did. To be fair, I did spring this on these two guys here last second. So
I think Haley has the skills to be the next Paige Pierce if she could just get out of her own head sometimes.
Yep. I agree
so
with
I
that.
think if she's feeling confident, if she's in a happy place, I think she could absolutely take it down.
Yeah.
Yeah. What happier place can you be than going back to where you won $25,000 to play disc golf for?
Yeah.
What did she play? 2 rounds last year
for more money. Yeah.
Right. And now you're going to get even more than that.
But she has to play 4 every round this year.
Right. I'm glad neither of you guys took her. I've got Katrina winning.
Oh, cool.
It was a toss up for me between Kat and Sarah. Since you took Sarah, I'm going to go with Kat. She won Worlds. I think she's far and away a top 2 player in the field.
For sure.
And
she's
I think
a hyzer flipper for days.
Right. I think she just, where Sarah can get out of trouble, I bet Kat's game plan is to not get into trouble. Yeah. Fairway goes this way, I'm turning left.
I agree. If Kat's putts, I think at the end of the day, out of the 3 that we picked, any of them could win.
Oh yeah.
And it's all about whoever's putter is on.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
If your putter is on, you could be missing drives. But if you're hitting your circle 1 and just outside circle 1 putts, then you're probably going to win this event.
Yeah.
I'm usually bad at these, so y'all are probably going to win. But
I'm not going to win because I'm not playing.
That's true.
That's true. Yeah,
that's true. That's a good point.
Yeah,
now, is this on Disc Golf Network or is this also pay-per-view?
I thought it was just on Disc Golf Network.
Okay.
I thought USDGC was by itself in the pay-per-view
and I know
thing.
I heard a lot of people complaining about that I pay for this all year, but I know that Jeff Spring made a deal 2 months ago about this. So it's not like it was ever on the schedule.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's not like it was on the schedule and then all of a sudden, hey, we're going to make you guys pay for this.
Mm-hmm.
And those people that are complaining about it have no idea what it used to be like watching live events. Like USDGC, the dots year, you guys were probably not in the sport during dots.
Mm-mm.
So dots was a golf cart that drove around following the lead card with a desktop computer and basically an extension cord. And what it would do is it would have locations, all you would be is watching a screen and the 4 players on the card would be color coordinated and the dot of that color would represent where the player's disc is on the hole. So it would have a map of the hole, and that's how we watched live back in the day.
Wow.
That was next level stuff right there.
For back then, yeah.
Now it's just people are mad if it freezes which I get it. I mean, it froze in probably one of the worst possible times, but at the same time, man, that production cost a lot of money, so they actually needed that $25 or whatever it was. And I'll be honest with you guys, if I was here, if I wasn't at the event, I 100% would have paid the $25 to watch it.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
I would if I was just busy this weekend.
Or I would have just come to the warehouse because we had it on here apparently, and I would have just sat and watched it in the break room down there.
Yeah.
I mean,
just hang out.
Bring my computer and do work from there. Why not?
Hey.
Should we do a couple of goofy topics before we call it an episode?
Let's do it.
We've got time for one.
One?
Let's pick a good one.
Well, can I do a semi-serious one and then a goofy one?
Make it quick.
Permission granted.
All right.
I'm kidding.
Should post-round commentators fake surprise when something exciting happens?
I saw this on your topic. Yes.
I don't know, because it happened. It came up at Worlds when James Conrad threw in on 18, and on the commentary, because German and Yuli were there, and then in the commentary they were also like, "What? That's crazy. That's so I don't necessarily think that it doesn't feel genuine, especially if you knew ahead of time.
It's not genuine too.
It's just obviously fake, and I think that throws a lot of people off.
Well, how long until we can just cut up the live coverage for post-produced and get that genuine take?
I think, didn't Smashbox try that with like the smash cuts a while ago?
I like those.
I don't know.
I think they did.
I don't watch that show.
I think it's fine. First of all, roasted. I think it's fine while kind of post-produced coverage is like the main way that people watch disc golf.
Yeah.
Right? Because I think the majority of people who watch that are going to be surprised by that. Maybe not James Conrad's throw because that kind of like broke the disc golf world.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think most people find out stuff from Jomez. Obviously, it would be ideal if they...
I don't know how you do that.
Right. It'd be ideal if the commentators were giving genuine reactions and weren't there.
Yeah.
But considering our main commentators in disc golf are also playing the same events that they're commentating, we're just kind of in a position where we have to deal with that.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's kind of like what I brought up a little bit earlier in the show about is live the future, and the post-produced stuff's kind of slowly starting to go away if the production value is there. So that's kind of what I see it as, I guess. And as far as the commentators being or not genuine or being surprised about things, I would rather them act like they're surprised and do it that way than just kind of be like, oh, yeah, and here's where James Conrad throws in the 220-foot shot to tie Paul.
What we did when we put out that challenge round with Oakley playing with only felons and he aced hole 17 or whatever, him and I were doing the commentary, and we hyped it up. We're like, wow, this is such a sick shot.
Yeah,
we didn't
he
like
had
spoil
no
it
idea
or
it went in.
anything. Yeah, but we didn't say like... I was like, oh, this was so cool to see in person. Like, this was awesome.
And that's a little different, I think.
Yeah.
I mean,
because it was hype. It's exciting, but it's not like, what? I didn't see that. That's crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's the way to do it.
Surprised, maybe.
Yeah.
But you can still be excitable about the shot.
Right. Yeah. You have to find that balance. And I think that's honestly the difference between like commentator A, Nate Sexton, and then like professional commentators that like
Joe Buck.
Right. They commentate things for a living.
Yeah.
This is what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's just bring out John Madden and he throws the disc in the tree.
See, you're not going to want to go OB because that's where you gain
the person
strokes.
who plays the course
So
and the
he's
least
gonna
amount of
throw the
strokes
frisbee.
is going to win.
Yeah. I love John Madden so much.
Okay. That was a somewhat serious one.
Okay.
Goofy one. Talking to discs. How do you feel about that? Because it usually happened, like when Paul threw his shot on the playoff hole, some guy goes, get in the hole.
Oh, yeah. When it was like a 20-foot putt or whatever. Or 30-foot putt.
It was his drive. It was as it was flying. He goes, get in the hole.
Well, they also did that on his putt.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I think somebody made a post about it. But
how do I feel about it? Talking to discs while they're in flight.
So not necessarily a gallery. You're talking more about like if it's us three and another guy on a card, and I throw a shot and someone says miss the tree or whatever,
or like get left or
get left. I don't know. I'm okay with it. I'm not one of these believers that you nice to my disc. Like don't nice my disc.
I try. I'm usually telling your stuff to hit a tree.
Well, that's
get
completely
out.
different. Like you're saying,
come on, spit.
You're saying hit it, like hit the tree, not miss it. So I mean that's completely different.
Or like Ricky, every shot he throws, he goes sit.
Yeah.
And it's parked.
Yeah, right. Or short and skips to parked. No, I'm indifferent on it, I guess. And I probably honestly find myself doing it.
Yeah.
During rounds. Like if I'm playing with a group and it's going towards a tree, I'll be like, miss or get through or you know, I don't mean anything ill will towards the shot.
Yeah.
Like I'm not in my head going, oh please hit. Oh please hit that tree. Please.
Come on.
You know?
Do it. I'm trying to beat this disc in. Come on.
You want to. You know you want to. But no, I don't necessarily. I don't know. What about you?
Because I do it. I talk to discs I don't even, not like I'm making a decision to. It's just I'm like, oh, get there or something like that. And I haven't had anybody like get mad at me, but there's people who's been like
there's
annoyed.
People out there that will get mad. Don't talk to my disc.
Annoyed or something like that. And like, I don't mind it. I find I'm much more optimistic for other people's shots than my own.
Yeah.
Like everyone else, I'm like, oh, get there. You got it. Nice. And me, I'm like, it's going to be short. It's going to hit the tree.
You throw yours and you're like, that. I know that's hitting that tree.
Yeah.
That tree's 300 feet away, but I know I smacked
100%,
it.
100%. Yeah.
And
we suck again.
But yeah, I don't mind it. I do it. And I've had people get annoyed and I don't necessarily understand. I guess it could be annoying, but.
I mean, if it's like every single shot, every single time you throw the disc, somebody says something, that could get a little annoying. But if it's just every now and then,
yeah.
I'm good with it.
What about you, Anthony?
I I would be willing to bet that I do this and I don't even realize it because
like
I genuinely
under your breath even, right? Like,
right. I genuinely don't know if I do. And I feel like if I didn't, I would know that I'm like, don't do that.
Yeah.
So I bet I probably do it. And just it's not even like a conscious thing. I'm just like throw it like, oh, miss that. Like,
miss.
Yeah. I mean,
hit it. Next time I play a mic'd up round with us, I'm going to just do the opposite.
Yeah.
Just throw it in dead silence.
Yeah. Not talk the entire time. It's be pointless to be mic'd up. Or do like hit the tree. Hit that tree.
Just whisper quietly to yourself.
Please hit that tree.
Come on, miss.
Come on. Spit.
Just ASMR disc golf.
Oh, man.
That sounds like something I would do.
That's getting into a weird place.
Oh, yes.
Yes, it is.
Speaking of weird, you know what we completely forgot to do?
What?
Tell people about like the Facebook group and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's a thing.
Well, I'm sure everybody's still here.
We have that.
Everybody listens to the whole episode, right?
All the way up until the end.
Our episode they will because
It's the first one. They have
it's good content.
Right. So yeah, look up it's just called Understable Minds on Facebook. That'll be our Facebook group. You can join it, talk about stuff, look at stuff, share stuff, do stuff.
Do stuff, like stuff, share stuff. Oh, you said that.
Wait, what?
Comment.
You could comment stuff.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you
Can
want.
we set it up so it plays that noise every time you make a post on the page?
Every time someone joins.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just have that. We'll just have the link be a pinned post. So anytime someone posts something, just click on that link.
Yeah.
And then just
You're gonna have to call what's his name? Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
To see if he can
Oh, I've got his number. He's got time.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
We go back.
He and Danny. Danny taught him how to throw next step. So
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. I didn't know that. That's fantastic.
yeah, that's it for episode 1 of the Understable Minds. Thank you everybody for listening. We are going to be doing this weekly as often as possible. We've already got episode 2. Should we say who the special guest is?
Sure, yeah.
We've
I
got a
think so.
special guest lined up already for episode 2.
Yeah,
Can you even believe it?
Can you believe it?
I certainly can't.
Not even one full episode in, and we've already got...
I believe it because I just talked to him on the phone like 2 hours ago. So.
Okay. Well, spoiler
Mark
alert.
Zuckerberg?
Now it's a him.
Oh man,
Yeah, okay.
that just narrowed it way down. I guess we better
There's
just say
probably
the name
a couple
now.
Mark Zuckerbergs in the world. One of them will not be on the show next week.
Neither of them will be on the show.
Yeah.
Ever.
No, we've got AJ Risley's going to be in town for a couple days, so we will have him on for episode 2. Talk about kind of his tour, kind of second half of the tour, his time out on the road, going back home, getting ready for the off season, all that good stuff. AJ has very many things to say and very many funny things to say.
Yeah,
So we're just going to kind of let him do that.
It's going to be great. We had a great time at USDGC.
Nice.
Hanging out, and it was just all around good time. A lot of like just literally falling on the floor laughing moments.
It's
with
hard
AJ.
to not have a good time when AJ's around.
That's a fact.
For sure.
That's a fact. So,
So-
look for a lot of good content too
Yeah.
from us. Like we have been putting out with Oakley and Clemens when they were here, and
on
now
the YouTube.
we're hoping to do some things with AJ as well.
For sure.
So
Cool.
Anyways, you can't go home. Wait, you don't got to go home, but you can't stay here.
oh, you butchered that
Nailed
so
it.
bad.
Yeah, I killed it.
Nailed it.
That's your plan from here on
can't
out.
go
That
home.
is your new thing. That is Danny's new thing to end the show.
Danny's
he has
gotta
to
have some
butcher.
sort of
He has to butcher some saying at the end of every
I'm
single
down.
show. That's
I'll
it.
do my best.
Start looking for next week.
No, I can't think of them ahead of time. I just have to come up with them.
Just put him on the spot.
the
because
Then
spot.
it will go poorly.
Oh yeah, we'll
That's
just
true.
wait, and it'll just be like an awkward pause, and then
Then you don't gotta
hey,
go home.
see you later, gay alligator.
How
See you
the
later,
turntables.
That had the same energy, didn't it?
Oh,
It really
man.
did.
Anyways,
That's good
you can't
stuff.
go home. I don't know where you're going, but you can't go home.